Hey guys, welcome back to Loop Hub. Today we'll talk about the grossest and most disgusting moments on Dr. Pimple Popper. Let's head into it. Number 1. Slice and squeeze 2 back cysts. Dr. P's latest pimple popping video gave fans a 2-for-1 offer as she treated the patient's 2 epidermoid back cysts in one sitting. According to the Mayo Clinic, an epidermoid cyst is swelling that occurs when skin cells burrow and multiply beneath the skin. Epidermoid cysts usually grow slowly and are not unpleasant. Epidermoid cysts often have a cheesy insides and a distinct odor. According to Dr. Pimple Popper, whose real name is dermatologist Sandra Lee, Dr. P began by treating the patient's baby cyst, which he claimed had been bothering him for a few years. They utilized and injected numbing medication to numb the area before cutting directly across the cyst center with a surgical blade. Dr. P next squeezed inwards with his gloved thumb and index finger on either side of the growth. A glob of thick white liquid spewed forth right away. She next dug around inside the incision with tweezers, scissors, and a tiny scooping instrument, removing microscopic fragments of the cyst. According to her, it's critical to get rid of every last trace of the cyst, or it could reappear. Lee used stitches to close the incision and move on to the second cyst. Once she was sure she'd removed all of the epidermoid cyst, Dr. Pimple Popper numbed the spot, sliced into its core, and squeezed it with her fingers, much like the previous time. The second cyst ejected a large number of pus that resembled cheese. The stuff resembled egg salad, according to Dr. Lee. The cyst's entire sac, which held the pus in place beneath the skin, burst out as she continued to squeeze. Dr. P was ecstatic. It reminds me of a garlic clove. This one is stunning. In the case of the second cyst, this was said. She then continued to demonstrate it to the patient before closing the second incision. Number 2. Removing scrambled egg-like bits out of a man's cheek growth. From creme brulee to mashed potatoes, Dr. P likens her patient's lumps and blemishes to food. The famous dermatologist did precisely that with a man's excellent cheek lipoma in a YouTube video posted this week. Lipomas are fat-filled growths that appear beneath the muscle and skin layers of a person. Lipomas usually grow slowly and are modest, with a diameter of around 2 inches. According to the Mayo Clinic, when pushed with a finger, these growths normally feel doughy and move around a little under the skin. Lipomas are painless for most people, but they can be uncomfortable for others if they are near nerves or blood vessels. The lipomas can be drained if this is the case. According to the Mayo Clinic, people are more likely to develop lipomas as they become older, mainly between the ages of 40 and 60. Doctors aren't sure what causes lipomas in the first place, but they suspect that some people are predisposed to them genetically. Dr. P explained to the man that another doctor had attempted to remove the growth previously, but had failed to do so completely. Lee began the treatment by numbing the area before cutting into the lipoma center with a blade. She next zapped tiny blood vessels in the incision with a cauterizing pen to prevent excessive bleeding. Dr. P next used scissors to snip away at fibers beneath the skin, making it simpler to detect and retrieve the lipoma. She squeezed the skin around the growth with one hand while using the other to tweeze the lipoma with tweezers. Lee decided to chop out tiny parts of the lipoma after a few minutes of shimmying it about inside the cavity. According to Lee, eliminating the growth little by bit was a preferable method because it was deep beneath the man's skin. According to her, each cut lipoma chunk looked like a piece of scrambled eggs. Dr. P used stitches to suture the cut on the man's face after double checking that she had removed the entire lipoma. Number 3. Removing 5 cysts from a man's scalp. Lee demonstrated how she removed the numerous pillar cysts in a video posted May 7. According to the National Institutes of Health, the most frequent type of cyst is a pillar cyst, which develops on the scalp. Pillar cysts affect less than 10% of the population and are usually non-cancerous. They arise when keratin, a protein found in skin cells, fills them, as previously reported by Insider. The cysts resembled small scallops when Dr. Pimple Popper plucked them from incisions that she made in the man's head in her most recent film. Dr. P used a scalpel to make a 2-inch incision on top of one of the cysts to treat the man in the video. The famous dermatologist injects a numbing medication around each growth before treating a patient, albeit she didn't display it on camera. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.